I've picked up on something that a lot of people have had very strange theology introduced to them. They're poorly catechized. I kind of get this feeling that there really is this sort of generation of people that they wanted to be these they wanted to guide children, but they really resented sort of the hard work it takes, especially raw memorization. That's so imperative to, wow. I wonder if this spray paint thing here is actually showing some kind of way that they're going to have to cut this whole section. That would blow my fucking mind if they had to cut this whole section of concrete out, or asphalt. But that's what it looks like they're trying to show each other. Because, okay, so I'm on this slough that you always see with the duckies, right? And it goes back behind this bar. And, but it looks like they're going to have to somehow cut, or there's something that they're going to be doing that's going to require, like, this whole area being, like, redone. Like, that's going to be serious. And I could totally imagine, because this building has to be having, like, its own issues with constantly settling down into the slough. And you can see, slowly the foundation is yielding to time. Yeah, but I mean, like, look at this. Like, see that green line? All the way out to there. So a lot of times when I'm walking and I'm like, oh, there's all this construction, that's that road. That's that street. And they're working, for miles up that street. Like, the whole thing about the Northwest that I've had to come to understand is that, one, there is a level of efficiency that comes from generations of experience here, that of how to maintain these cities and such, that is very important, and they're very good at it. There's also new concepts in construction that are saving some of the infrastructure up here because of ways that they figured out they could have drainage systems that will collect a lot of the trees and the plant life that comes off, because we have this tremendous amount of trees in the local area, to the point that it's a phenomena. Like, Eugene, Oregon actually has a phenomena because of the concentration of trees. There's a community group that maintains them. Yeah. Okay. So there we go. Actually, See, because there's a natural order, people want to live in a beautiful place. They will do the little things it takes. You just kind of have to let people organize. Now, this is as opposed to the new order established by the revolution. The revolution doesn't care. The revolution never will care. Everything is in the revolution, is the way that they really are always thinking. So when you hear like Emma Tremulous or Hassan or Vaush and these people seemingly to be like, well, you got to break a few eggs to have an omelet, when people have their homes taken over by squatters or crimes are committed against them. Because remember, first, it's not happening. This is always the way that the revolution does it. First, they can't be wrong. Second, it's not happening. It's a myth by the counter-revolutionaries. Robespierre is not raping and pillaging, He's just dealing with people who are against the revolution, or he was just dealing with people who are committing crime or something. Now, of course, we understand, no, the revolution always goes after civilians. The revolution always lets criminals prey on the civilians. That's the only way the revolution actually succeeds, is they allow for crime. They always favor the criminals. That's the key difference between something like Mussolini turning to something like fascism, with a very different. You could have socialism, but you are going to have to make people do. And so it got to the point that eventually, a philosophy like that, you can't have criminals. You can't have people who will do their own thing and are like, fuck you, doesn't matter if you're the authority, you have to make them do. Vice and the bourgeois enjoyment of life, that's associated with the kinds of people who are involved in crime. People who have problems being compulsive and obeying their compulsions rather than being rational and sacrificing. And so the revolution always has to say, no, the compulsive, just give the compulsive what they want. You orderly people, you understand things that they don't, and for the sake of the revolution, where something like the Mussolini's solution to all this was really like, no, just make the compulsive work. They could shovel, they compel. I've got an idea. How about we compel them to shovel, and so that's why the revolutionaries always are so afraid of anybody understanding that Hitler and Mussolini based their ideas in socialist theory, in Marxist theory, on the way people behave and on human civilization and human development and stuff, because they don't want to be compelled to really work. The revolution is always very popular among artists. It's always you usually find out a lot of these people are crazy and degenerate, in very critical ways. It comes out like years and years later, like this that they were. They were like, they were something about them that was like a considerable vice. They would have never kind of made it in a harder world that would have required discipline and honor and good behavior and things like that. Or they were like really a true come-up artist. Like, I think somebody like Emma Tremulous is a true NPC come-up artist, like that she's one of these Yankee chicks that has found the revolution, and she's and it'll pay, and so she's liking it because it'll pay compared to doing hard work. She's not going to be working on any roads, she's not going to be humping boxes, that's not going to be happening. No, she's enjoying, trying to set herself up with a nice house someplace, reporting, that she could have an office in it so she could write her books about how Trump is the fascism. But these people never care that the economy gets bad. Obama didn't care that the economy got bad. Now it's so much so to blame people for noticing the economy is not good. That they're actually blaming people for noticing, saying that the fact that you can actually mathematically prove the economy isn't good, you're a bad person for doing that in some way. It's not that, no, we deny that there's all these people dying of fentanyl overdoses. No, we're denying all this crime is actually happening. No, we're denying that this was because of our policies. No, and no. You see, you guys shouldn't be noticing that it ever was our policies. You shouldn't be help the counter revolution. That's what this comes down to. See, when you disagree with the white men in dresses and women who look like Emma Tremulous, and then the angry ethnics who are just, they're just angry. That you are, their view is you're helping the counter-revolution. And then one day, as the revolution doesn't, remember, morality for the revolutionary is in the revolution, so they can't do wrong. They don't understand the concept of doing wrong because the revolution is always right. So that's the next part is they tried it before and they failed because they physically couldn't do it. But at some point, the present revolution has to make its Robespierre attempt again, and it won't work. It will go even worse the next time. But they have to do that because the revolution is inherently violent, and because of that, they don't convince people. Like Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is trying to be real cool about it in a way. He's trying, and it makes sense. I actually really had to think this through. For Stephen A. Smith, this is about culture and people having a good time. That's his world. Like sports, guys hanging out, bantering about, and it's a good time, and not everyone's the same, and it's cool. We're not rooting for the same team. That's the whole point, and it's fun. It's a good time. See, he gets this. He totally gets this idea. But when it comes to, say, he doesn't get that. He doesn't get the political thing. He's not really getting this whole thing of, no, that green line is something else. No, somebody has put this green line, or maybe this is another place that they have to tear up the sidewalk, which does make sense, actually, I gotta admit. Green spray paint. All right, so Stephen A. Smith is coming at it with this point of view of we can't have peace. That was a beautiful way he put that. He said, if this doesn't work out, if you can't convince these people that you are losing because you can't convince them, then that's, fundamentally he's saying you have to lose. You have to be ready to lose, and lose fair and square. Or you have to win. And you have to win fair and square. If you cannot do that, you won't have peace. And he's totally right. He's completely, that's a really great way he put that. And the outcomes of it are, he's correct. And also I could tell it's a thing too of he doesn't know what might happen. He knows there won't be peace, but he's not really saying what could or could not happen. Stephen A. Smith, the people need to listen to what Smith is saying. He's trying to be a good kind of dad in the situation, and trying to be the guy who's peace in the hood homies guy. It's not going to work, unfortunately. It's not going to work. It's and the reason why is because he doesn't understand the revolution. He because somebody like him wouldn't take it serious. They would be like, "Oh, the revolution, huh? Really? Yeah, okay." But no, these people take this totally seriously, and it is like it's religious fervor, because they were badly catechized, badly taught their historical religion. The revolution makes up for their bad catechization and bad indoctrination into their religion, or the kooky fucking shit they were taught in the first place which you run into that a lot up here. These sort of hippie Christians that they dedicate everything to some social issue. Now, the thing that people don't get is that is the history of America. We teach women to read because, well, if you can't read the Bible and you're going to go to hell. That's where we get that from. We don't get it from some kind of, oh, reading is fundamental. No hippie shit. It was, you're gonna, and that's why people who were formerly enslaved were taught the Bible. You're gonna go to hell if you can't read this book, sir. And all of you who you know from the Freedman's, our discussions of the Freedman's bureaus, that's absolutely the case. And it led to the greatest orators, musical tradition, and some of the greatest writing in the English fucking language. And the fucking Harlem Renaissance. So it just... because people with good ideas, when they start discussing their best ideas together, sometimes you get something even better out of it all. But here in the Northwest, the idea of discussing, oh, fuck no. No, they showed everybody. We are going to go Robespierre the minute we get the fucking opportunity. The minute the city council lets us. The minute the police are ordered to stand aside. The minute the FBI, the FBI couldn't catch any of these people. And now, thanks to Andy Ngo, we know a lot of these guys were assaulting women and children after they got away with whatever they got away with up in Chaz Chop or here in the other parts of the Northwest. So, these were just criminals. And people didn't, and remember, the revolution didn't want to discuss the kind of people who like the mosh pit. They didn't want to discuss that. They didn't want to discuss, no, have you ever listened to Dead Kennedys? Do you know who their fans are? It's like, I did. I drank with people like this. So it's like, I'm like, no, these guys can't run anything. They could barely even schedule a fucking show. What are you talking about? They shouldn't run society. And, but now we all know, now we all get it. And when you're around a lot of these people, you find out poorly catechized, had weird ideas about religion. Some of them were from really weird backgrounds. But a lot of them, there was also not the best of treatment. A lot of these are people who their entire idea of authority is coercive. They don't know any different because that's how they were raised. They were raised in a household where that force was used against them. And so it's really one of these things, too, that it's like you're dealing with people that are quite openly and by their own admission broken. Trying to find create some kind of new culture, and every few decades are they Wiccans, or are they into Taoism, or are they into Indra and things like, something strange is happening. I gotta go. Later.